Hi Taurus, welcome to your Eclipse April 2024 reading. Aha. So, we are going to shuffle these cards. We're going to talk about some dates, but we're going to leave the astrology for the extended mainly. But let's talk about some themes, yeah? We have the solar eclipse coming up, and this reading is mainly about the eclipse and how that energy makes its way forward into your life. We are here. You are here. An interesting aspect of the magician that I really like is the idea that the magician works outside of time. Because so much of this eclipse is about your past, especially Taurus rising. It's in your 12th house. It's about transforming what has been, for better or worse, whether it was celebratory or addictive. It's about transforming what has been into something new that you can stand on. Things can get very heavy, especially around people or an activity that you used to indulge in, something that was bad for you. A toxic habit, an addiction, something that you know you just need to reach back out to and it would be there for you. Something that makes you feel like the whole world can be yours, whether this is a person, a substance, a behavior. And although it feels really good, it always leaves you stuck. Okay, I'm back. My mom called, so I just wanted to take that call and talk to her for a minute. Now, let's talk a little bit about this retrograde and then bring it together with what we were just saying about the eclipse. So from the 1st to the 25th, we have Mercury retrograde through Aries, Taurus rising. That is your 12th house. And regardless, Taurus sun, Taurus rising, there is this nostalgia that can verge on sadness and depression, and it has to do with a former love. Of course, if that former love is a Scorpio, they're coming through very strong, which they would. Now, you have some choices. This former love can be something you ruminate about and it ruins your present moment. Or it can be something that the thoughts bring you a deep sense of appreciation for where you are now, and you're grateful you're not there anymore. And another way that this can go is that you can pout and be sad and long for the thing, the person, for some people the job, the community, that was left behind, that now during this retrograde is kicking up the past. Now add this to possible reconnections that happen on or in the week after the solar eclipse. Reconnections that can get really, really heavy. Okay? Now, part of the reason these reconnections are so heavy is because there is an element of secrets coming to light. And they have to do with unresolved love stories, unresolved feelings. It could be a relationship where you feel like you fucked up. You know, it doesn't necessarily have to be someone who wronged you and you're thinking about them. For some of you, it's really you looking at yourself and going, damn, I was the bad guy in that situation. That's okay. It's better to be contemplative and still right now, but be careful, because when you're contemplative and still, there is a tendency to become sad and let it take over instead of having it be the meditative experience it's supposed to. As soon as you start clinging to whatever you're thinking about while you're contemplating, the stillness is no longer there. And I think that you get away with a lot of this kind of stuff because on the outside, the external is so still that sometimes people don't realize that you can be quite chaotic in the mind, especially when you feel like something was taken from you, something was ruined, and it was outside of your control. If you would have just been able to do it the way you wanted, if no one had interfered, things would be so different. This is the vibe. You can see how easy it is to get caught up in that kind of resentment, right? Try not to. But your secrets want their day. In their solar eclipse dark, the secrets want their day. Be brave about this. Don't sell yourself short because you feel like you have secrets that, nobody will forgive you for, or you have these love situations that are too embarrassing, or, oh my gosh, if people really knew what I had been doing at that time, they're going to judge me so harshly. No. Your secrets coming up for air will clarify things for you, and they'll add a lot of peace of mind. It will make you reevaluate everything, this eclipse. You'll think about whether or not you want to get married. You'll think about if you ever want to get married, not just if you're with someone. You'll think about the idea of newness as something just uninteresting. I feel off of you this kind of boredom when it comes to the new. Everything seems just reductive and a version, a copy of a copy of a copy. And yet it is possible for something new to come up right now. Someone very viable, in fact, someone who to you feels like they have quite a lot of authority. If something comes up, just in case you meet somebody and you feel, a little bit intimidated by them, let's say. Not that we would ever say this out loud. Keep it secret. It's one thing for you to be intimidated and perhaps even, it's just misappropriated respect, right? But it's another thing to pass that on to your friends and family and the way they'll deal with that and hype it. I just don't think you need that right now. Because you're not only reevaluating how you feel about relationships, how you feel about people you've been with, you're also reevaluating your friends in relation to how they are with you when you do like somebody, when someone likes you. A lot of you are figuring out during this eclipse that people are really happy with you as long as you don't have more than them. And that shit is wild, bro. Like, you're such a generous sign. You have so much to give, always. So for you, this idea of people, wanting to run an abundance race with you, it makes no sense because you're not running, not because you've already won, because you're not running. You're fixed earth. There's nowhere to run to. Everything is growing out of you. There's nowhere to go. There's no one to compete against. And yet, you may find yourself leading up to this eclipse, but also in the months after this eclipse, having to confront the fact that a lot of people who seemingly wanted the best for you, as soon as they felt like your best might be better than theirs, you started to see some real snark from them. In some cases, these are people you've known for a really long time, and you're just wondering now, was it always like this? That's why I think it's wonderful that the Magician card is the first card out, because all these realizations that otherwise would just be heartbreaking, disappointing. Your friends mean so much to you. Your community means so much to you. It's hard to deal with that because it's so not nice. It's just not nice. But what does the magician do with all our bad habits? 3 of Cups. It turns them outward by transforming them into something good, something that can be useful, something that can be a benefit to you. And you have glimpses throughout April of this better life, a life that isn't emotionally, capped by the people around you. Because there is a cap. There is a cap. You're not, with certain people, you are not allowed to do better, be better, or even, hello. Let's be very real. You're not even allowed to be happier than them. And you instinctively know this, which is sick. You know when to tone your happiness down around certain people because they don't really care how you feel that day. I mean, if they're in a good mood, by all means, join in. But you know that if they're not, they won't be able to separate themselves enough from themselves, from their feelings, to even appreciate what's going on with you. And if you think that doesn't extend to every other part of your life, you're being naive. And I think the eclipse is going to show you that. So, can these realizations be jarring at first? Along with this deep nostalgia for the past, especially for a past love, weighing on you, making you feel perhaps like you're the problem. Oh, that didn't work out because of me. If I had been XYZ. No. That's one way to look at it. And the other way to look at it is that these are all secret thoughts and secret feelings that deserve clarification for your peace of mind and your mental balance. You are not going to be the first person in history that changes anything in their present by obsessing over the past. Of course, the past can change the present if focused on, but only through prayer. We know that from experimentation. When people were asked, without being told, to pray for certain patients in the hospital, without being told that those patients were in the past. When people were randomly asked to be prayed for. Upon further inspection, the people that were prayed for, regardless of the time period they were in, showed marked recoveries and faster healing. Prayer, good intentions, light work, these things transcend time and space. Pouting, stubbornness, tantrums, entitlement do not. So if you start to feel agitated, if you start to feel like there is this one situation that's eating at you because it shouldn't have gone that way, and that could have worked out, and you want to blame people and you want to point fingers and you want to lose your temper. But it's not really about that person anymore, is it? It's about something deeper. But what? This eclipse will bring it to the surface. What are those hidden emotions that need to be clarified? What are those needs that need to be, or that are begging to be reevaluated? Did your needs put you in the position that you were in, that now you're blaming yourself for with this nostalgia from the this pull of the past? If you decide to reconnect unexpectedly with someone from said past, be very, very careful because it will get heavy very quickly. Very quickly. It will go from feeling like your luck in love is nothing to feeling very lucky, oh my God, I can't believe this is working out, I never thought this was going to work out, to being very heavy and confusing like that. So be careful around this eclipse. Don't let your guard down with others, but certainly give yourself a lot of space. If you want to pout, if you want to be upset, okay. But realize that there has to be some end to that, and appreciation has to kick in. Because regardless of how happy you think you would have been with that person or in that situation, the fact is that you are here now for a reason. And that thing didn't work out for a reason. Whatever that reason is, the eclipse is going to make it very clear to you. So hold out a little bit. Now, in your sign, in Taurus, from April 15th to the 26th, we have a Jupiter-Uranus conjunction. This is a big deal. And for you, it's a culmination of a few years of Uranus being in Taurus already and just creating the most unexpected changes in your life. Some of them you may view as very negative. Nonetheless, they have been very unexpected, right? These unexpected changes, again, can indicate an old romance coming back to you. Something that you never thought would work out. Like when you first met this person, you were like, this is my person. That's it. It's going to happen. I know it. I feel it. You were very convinced. But then after a while, you realized, no, that can never work out. That could never be. Jupiter-Uranus conjunction says, I don't know. This person may very well want to reach out to you. And when they reach out to you, please play it cool. Because they're going to be reaching out with quite a lot of fervor. You know, you got Jupiter and Uranus there pulling on people. They're going to reach out. And you're going to have to do a little mental acrobatics to talk yourself into going for it. And if you do, that's okay. Because there was no way for it to work out until now, if it does. There was no way for that collaboration to work out before. There was no way for that relationship to work out before. You may have thought there was. You may have thought at the time that you were in the ideal place in your life for things to move forward. But now, with a little contemplation and a little distance, a little time, you see that there was still so much that you didn't know about yourself. There were so many ways that situation, that relationship, that job could have just drowned you. You would have, fallen into the tumult of it and perhaps not come up, gotten stuck, which you can do. Now, it can be really tough as someone who gets stuck and doesn't mean to, therefore doesn't know what they did to get into it. It can be very tough for someone who gets stuck to be confronted with such jarring changes back to back to back, especially if every one of those changes presents an opportunity to get stuck again. So you are walking through a minefield. And yet there is a perfect use for your past here. Because if you, instead of indulging in your past and going back there somewhere in your head, if you use the past as something to superimpose over what your reality is now, you'll see exactly where the mines are. And you can just walk right through that field without any worry, without any concern. The past holds you back right now if you can't use it to enhance your future, if you get lost in it, if you become stubborn about it, if you want to pick old fights or reignite old flames. But if what you want is a way to navigate your present, if your highest intention is to balance your mind and find some peace of mind, then the past is delivered to you on a silver platter as the biggest gift. It's only when you try to possess the past that has come calling to help you that things can get very sticky. But you are not who you used to be. You don't get stuck like that anymore. You move fast, 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 fast. And that applies to everything. It applies to money as well. Taurus rising, you have Gemini as your second house. Fast, fast, fast. Now, the Mercury retrograde is going to freeze that money for a little while. So, April is a good time to go over bizarre and unnecessary expenses. It's also a time to be real with yourself about why you spend money, and if there is a deeper issue with self-worth that makes you want to bandage it with money. If there is, the eclipse will bring it up. May bring it up in relation to another person, but yet it's still all about you. So, April is a bit of a test. You may decide to take on a new financial direction, especially because that Jupiter-Uranus conjunction is perfected on the 20th. And for you, it can be really unexpected changes that professionally add a lot to your life. You could come into a windfall of money. If you do, you need to get rid of your debt. You may be offered more credit from, a company, a card, whatever. You may get a promotion at work. You're getting what you need financially. You're getting what you need to change your life. All the pieces, these like dynamic pieces here and there that are, these satellites in your life, they're coming together to push this chariot forward so you can change your life. And all that the universe asks of you, the only thing you really have to do, Taurus, in April is to avail the opportunity. You may think that you took some shots in the past and you missed, and that might be heavy on your mind because of the retrograde, because of the eclipse. I mean, all of this stuff is happening in your 12th house, right? Later in the month, Venus will move into your 12th house, and then even later in the month, Mars will move into your 12th house. You may feel like you missed some important shots. You may even be afraid to take new shots, but you're going to miss all the shots you don't take, right? Now, because of all of this going on in your 12th house, including a conjunction between Venus, the North Node, and Chiron in Aries, one of the deeper things here that you may already have picked up on is generational pain, trauma, toxic dynamics. You can't help but see them all around you, and it's not enough for you to just witness them. For the first time in a long time, you can't shut up about it. You just want to break these bonds with trauma. You want to free your family from the pain that has been passed down to you in your genes. The pain you carry, the pain you feel, the pain you know instinctively is not yours, and yet it weighs heavy on you. All of this activity in your 12th house can help you to pull that stuff up and let it go. Make some sense of it, find some, again, balance, find some peace. For many people, this manifests as parents. deep talks with parents, parents being ill, spending more time with parents because they don't feel well. You know, really feeling that mortality up close of not just the people you love, but your own mortality as well. It's a deep time. It's pretty spiritual. And it remains that way until about the 19th when the sun moves into Taurus. And suddenly you have this, you know, boost of energy and you can make yourself a priority. Up until the 19th, things are pretty much about others. But after the 19th, you find a way, especially 10 days later when Venus moves into your sign, you find a way to shake off the sadness, especially the sadness of others. Slow as you may be, you know what makes you happy. And you start to focus there, and like every fucking year, excuse my language, as soon as you focus on yourself, my goodness, do people show you what they're made of. They cannot survive. They begin to tell you all the ways they cannot survive if your life is not about them. Some of them do it under the guise of, you know, throwing obligation in your face. You have so much that you have to do. You have so many responsibilities. You have so much of the share of the weight. You have so far to walk. Why don't you want to do that? Why wouldn't you do that for me? Once again, you emotional pack animal. Why are you all of a sudden on the 19th just a totally different person, and you're focusing on yourself and you're putting yourself first? And because even Taurus once a year is like, enough. The shop is closed. Let me just recuperate. Let me redecorate. Let me, you know, like, give me a minute. And as soon as you say, again, every year, as soon as you say, give me a minute, boy, oh boy, do people have so much for you to do. It's like they hear that and they want to double the amount of weight they want to put on you. Just in case. There's a couple of things I wanted you to do. I've been waiting a long time to ask you if you would do them, but now that you're acting like you might be not doing things anymore, here. But it's not going to work. And you don't have time. Because the eclipse clues you into something that as soon as the sun comes into your sign, it clicks for you. That if you don't find a way to take care of yourself and keep balanced, nobody around you will take care of you. There are many ways in which people will take care of you, but not if you start to go sideways emotionally. You're too pointy, too sharp, too intimidating, too tough for people to rework you mentally. Only you can do it. Only you have the strength. And yeah, they may not realize that they're part of the problem. Once again, it's their yearly, notice that they're asking for too much, and they have been asking for too much for quite a while. But you focus on yourself nonetheless. They can feel how they want about it. And if you really want to have some very open conversations during this time, I think that's the one to have. How much of our dynamic involves you making sure that I'm okay? And for some people, that very simple question is really going to trigger them. The other question that will trigger a lot of people in your life is, if the situation was reversed, how would you treat me? If we were living in your house, how would this go down? If you were the one bankrolling this, how would it go? If you were the one doing most of the emotional labor, how would this go? When you ask these questions, people are going to reveal how broken they are. And instead of focusing there, try to see all the glue that's holding them together and has your name on it. That's the important part. So when these people say, I can't do it without you, what are you doing? You're not even paying attention anymore. Why won't you give me the things I need? Instead of resenting them, have some calm conversations and remind them that the glue holding them together is you. And that sometimes that glue needs a month off. And that if they can't stomach taking care of themselves for a month, perhaps they need to start taking care of themselves all the time and learn how to do it for real. Because no matter how much you think you love someone, Taurus, it's not love if it doesn't make them stronger. All right? Now, in the extended, we're going to talk more, not just about this Uranus-Jupiter conjunction, but we're also going to talk about these life-changing decisions, these unexpected moments. I'm going to reshuffle, and we're going to do from April 19th into May. So what does that Taurus season post-eclipse look like for you? And those links will be below. There's a Patreon link where you can become a member. There's also a Vimeo link where you can just buy the video. And there's also an instant link where you buy the video and it's sent directly to your email instantly. Also, there's a link below for personal readings that look like this. Okay, I love you. I'll see you in the extended. Happy eclipse.